day, learners! Welcome to another fun and exciting learning journey in English 4 here at DepEd Teleklase. I am teacher Mylene and I will be your learning companion in understanding today's lesson. I hope that you are all healthy and always ready to learn new set of lesson. So, find your most comfortable place there at your home and be ready to learn the topic, structure of a narrative text. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to identify the structure, purpose, and language of a narrative text. Before we begin the lesson, let us first have a review of your previous lesson. Come and let's notify. In this activity, you are going to read and note the details in the short story, which will be flashed on the screen. Afterwards, you will answer the questions that follow. The title of the story is Rosa's Flower Garden. I will be reading the story first, and then you will read after me. Are you ready? Let's read together. Rosa has a beautiful flower garden. She was able to grow many flowers in it. The flowers are of different kinds and colors. She has red, white, and yellow roses. There are gamamelas, santan, sunflower, and daisies too. Many of them are fragrant. No wonder butterflies and bees hover around her garden, with their wings glistening against the sunshine. Indeed, Rosa's garden is an attractive spot to behold. Now kids, it's your time to read. Please read the story once again and try to understand what it is all about. Wow! You did a good job in reading the story. I hope that you understood well what the story is all about. This time, let us try to answer these questions. You may write your answers on your notebook. Are you ready? Let us begin with our first question. Who owns a flower garden? The answer is... That's right! The answer for number 1 is Rosa. Next question. What kinds of flowers are found at Rosa's garden? You are absolutely right! Rosa has red, white, and yellow roses. She also has gamamelas, santan, sunflower, and daisies. And our last question is, what hovers in her garden? That is correct. Butterflies and bees indeed hover in her garden. Wow! You did a great job in noting details. It seems like you really learned a lot from your previous topic. Now, to start with our new topic, let us try to accomplish our next activity by reading another story, which is titled The First Runsay, written by Elmi S. Liska. Have you ever heard a Tagbanwa story? Then, I am sure you will be excited to know why they celebrate Runsay. In this activity, you are going to read another story carefully. Then, you will answer the questions that follow based on your understanding of the story that you have read. Once again, I will be reading the story first, and then you will read after me. Are you excited about the story? Then, let's read and find out why Gum Gum is at the back of a giant stingray. Long time ago, A group of Tagbanwa came to the nearby island of Malunao to gather shells and to catch crabs in the shores. They were spotted by a group of Muslim pirates who tried to capture and sell them as slaves in Borneo. They scattered as the pirates had run after them. One of them was Gumgum, who was able to escape by diving into the sea. But to his surprise, the sea was not deep. He ran until he reached the nearby shore. When he looked back, he was surprised that all pirates were drowned in the middle of the sea. Only then did he realize he did not run in a shallow sea, but rather he ran at the back of a giant stingray to cross the shore. From then on, he started a yearly offering to Magindusa, a god of Tagbanwa tribe. He believed that Magindusa spared his life. That is how the Runsai started. Did you understand the story? Now, it's your time to read. Once again, you will read the story on your own to fully understand what it is all about. Isn't that an interesting story? Great job in reading on your own. This time, let us try to answer the following questions. Are you ready? Let us begin with our first question. Who is Gumgum? You got it right! Gumgum is one of the Tagbanwa who came to the nearby island of Malunao to gather shells and to catch crabs in the shores. And for our second question, how did he escape from the pirates? That's correct! Gumgum escaped from the pirates by diving into the sea. And now, for our last question, why do the Tagbanwa people celebrate Runsai? Very good! They celebrate Runsai as a yearly offering to Magindusa, a god of the Tagbanwa tribe. Did you have fun reading the story? The story that you have read is an example of a narrative text. Now, for our new lesson, let's discuss the purpose, structure, and language of a narrative text using the story, The First Runsai. Let's look at this table. From the table, you can see the title of the story, which is The First Runsai at the very top. It was followed by the purpose of the story, which is to tell a story or narrate events since it is a narrative text. Next are the character, setting, problem, and solution. This compose the structure of the story. From the story, the characters are Gumgum and his friends. The setting of the story was long time ago in the island of Malunao. The problem started when the pirates tried to capture them. For the solution, Gumgum was saved by the giant stingray. The last one is the language of the story, wherein it uses past tense because it retells past events. From the previous table, we can infer that the narrative text has a purpose, structure, and usually uses a language in the past tense. Now, this chart will help you understand the story elements, which is the structure of a narrative text. From this chart, you can see that the characters, settings, problem, and solution are the ones that compose the story elements. Characters are the people, animals or things that take part in the story. Setting is where and when the story takes place. Problem is something that causes trouble for the characters. And of course, the solution is how the problem in the story is solved. Did you understand the structure of the story and the function of each element? If yes, then I believe you are now ready for another activity prepared for you. Now, the title of our first activity for this topic is Matched and Learned. In this activity, you are to match the story elements in column A with the correct meaning in column B. You may write the letter of the correct answer on the blank before the number. If you're ready, then let's begin. For number 1, we have problem. Number 2 is narrative text. Number 3 is character. 4 is language. And number 5 is solution. Again, you may choose from column B the appropriate definition for these words. You may begin your activity now. Now let us check if your answers are correct. The answer for number 1 is letter C. For number 2, we have letter B. Number 3 is letter A. Number 4, E. And number 5 is letter D. Wow! You did a good job in that activity. Indeed, you understood well our topic today. Since you already mastered the significant terms from our lesson, we will now move on to our next activity. Our next activity is titled Choose and Learn. For our activity, you have to read and identify the story elements by writing the correct word on your notebook. Come and let us read. The title of the story is The Search. Read the story silently and be ready for the activity right after. Now, let us try to answer this activity. Number 1. Bantay was gone. Is it a problem, solution, or setting? Number 2. Are Ben and Bantay character, setting, or problem? Number 3. Is at the river character, setting, or problem? Number 4. A girl came up to Ben holding bantay. Is it a solution, problem, or character? For the last part of the activity, which of the following is the purpose of the story? Is it to entertain or to inform? Time to check your answers. The answer for number 1 is problem. For number 2, Ben and Bantay are characters. Next we have at the river, which is the setting. Number 4 is the solution, and number 5 is to entertain. Now that was another great job you did in that activity. I hope you are still keeping up because you still have a lot of fun and exciting tasks waiting for you. For your last activity, before we proceed with your final task, let us answer activity 3. The activity is titled, Fill Me Up. In this activity, you will be reading another story. Make sure to read it carefully so that you may be able to complete the story element map that follows. Enjoy reading! Once again, read the selection silently and be ready for the activity right after. Isn't that an interesting story? This time, you are going to complete this concept map with the important details that you remember from the story that you have read. Make sure to fill up all the boxes. Let us now check what you have written on your map. Let's start with the characters in the story, who are Lyriel and her brother. Next, we have the setting, which is Lyriel's room. The problem in the story is that Lyriel's brother broke her crayon, and it was solved by asking Lyriel for her forgiveness. Congratulations in accomplishing your activities. Indeed, you are all awesome for completing all these activities, which only shows that you have learned a lot from this lesson. Again, always remember, a narrative text is a kind of text that entertains and informs the reader. The structure used by a narrative text is story element and procedure, which includes the character, setting, problem encountered by the character, and solution and how they overcome the problem. Since it retells a story, the language used is in the past or present tense. Now, we are down to your last activity, which is your final task. Are you ready? Let's do it! In this activity, you are going to complete another story map based on the story that you will be reading. You can make your story map as creative as you want it to be. Are you excited? If yes, then what are we waiting for? Let's start with your story map. The title of the story is Pepe and the Guavas. Again, please read the story carefully and note the important details that you will be writing on your story map. Now, it's your turn to accomplish this story map. You may write your activity on a short bond paper. Again, be creative in doing your activity. Good luck! It looks like you did a great job in this lesson. Once again, congratulations for actively participating in different activities prepared for you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that next time you will again join me in exploring and traveling the world of English.